Oh.
They were missing a timer for Moo, I just realized.
Yeah, Mo is streaming directly from the console.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, yeah.
So that is one thing to make note of, that Mo is streaming directly from the Xbox, whereas all of our other racers are on PC.
And we're starting, and we're off.
There we go.
The first race for Cuphead has officially started.
Yes, so as you can tell from the screen, it'll be QD versus Mo, and then on the bottom we have Call versus Dino. But yeah, like I said, you'll notice right away that, like I said, Mo is playing on console, which has been shown to have major differences in load time. Unfortunately, because this is a race based on SRL time, he is going to be at a very big disadvantage. Not one that he can't come back from. Certainly, it depends on how well Cutie does. But that is something to keep in mind going forward.
You'll also notice that Cutie is actually going for a run and gun instead of what most people expect, which is to just go for tutorial, then grabbing the 3 coins from the apple, and then just buying spread.
Yeah, I believe all of our races are doing that except for Cutie, it looks like.
Yeah. And that's still good. Like, there's people that have actually calculated the time difference between both things, but it at the end of the day just comes down to what you're most comfortable with in terms of, like, a race setting.
Right. I think tutorial averages about 30 seconds, while the first run and gun can be anywhere from roughly 40 to 50. So it's not a super big time loss.
Yeah.
But it is, and depending on their weapon setup, it could make a big difference. It looks like Cole is going with spread. I imagine, yep, Dino's going with spread. Oh no.
Wait, what happened with Moo?
Oh no. You'll see here in a second. Apparently, he bought Heart by mistake. So that is going to be a big cost right there. Big time loss. So now he's got to go get more coins, unless he just decides to go through on Pea Shooter. I didn't quite catch Cutie there. I'm assuming she bought spread, but she has also the extra.
She bought spread and lobber.
Spread and lobber. Okay, so right there, that's one reason to go with the run and gun over the tutorial. You get some extra coins. You can buy the second side of weapons or another charm or something like that, which all of our other racers won't have.
Moo is now going back and doing a run and gun now.
So he's probably going for spread, or at least a different weapon then. Meanwhile, Call and Dino, both on Ribby and Croaks.
Yeah, still incredibly close. Both of them going into that first attack pretty evenly.
Yeah, I think Dino is a little bit ahead. Did start the fight.
Yeah, it's already going
slightly earlier. But anything can happen. There's still a lot of game left. Still, I think, there's 17 bosses, 19 if you count Hell. Yeah. So, I mean, we're only on boss 2 here. There's quite a bit of game left, and certainly a lot of difficult bosses later on, too.
Definitely.
So, Dino here is going into, actually Call is too, the third phase of the frogs, which is the slot machine. It's actually invincible until you hit the handle. So that's why you see them kind of chilling for a little bit between rounds.
And depending on what they get, it can be a lot easier to get close and use spread, which you kind of want to do. Otherwise, it can be a lot more difficult.
Yeah, there are 3 possible attacks. There's what we just saw on Call screen was the frog, and I actually got it again, which is really nice. Those are just standard platforms. Dino, I believe, had a devil which shoots flames either upwards or downwards, so not only do you have to dodge platforms, you have to dodge flames. There's also a tiger, which I think Nina might have gotten as well, but that's generally considered the worst one. And That has bouncing balls that you have to dodge in addition.
Yeah. So Moo seems to still be on the run and gun.
Yeah, it did take a death a little bit ago. He's having to redo that, but
Hopefully,
he is...
hopefully they'll be able to come back from that.
Right. Certainly possible. On 1 health, though, so they do have to play it a little bit safer if they don't want to lose even more time. But it looks like he's up to the final jump. And he's going to take it, play it a little safe, and he makes it. So yes, this is on regular. And let's see. No one has forfeited yet. Just
Cole going down because they attempted to do a damage strat, which if you time it well, you can get off 1 to 2 EXs right as the tombstone comes down for Goopy. Unfortunately, he mistimed it and died before getting into the different phase. Because the tombstone itself does not hurt you, only Goopy's hitbox hurts you.
Yeah, to answer the question, how long the run is, it depends on if we're talking about real-time or in-game time, or I guess we refer to it as with loads or without loads. Currently, the record in loadless is about 32.5 minutes. A lot of times they're from there to about 35, 36 minutes. But we're talking about real-time here, which, depending on how loads go and that sort of thing, is certainly a lot longer.
It can be somewhere between like 38 minutes to 40 minutes, I think, generally.
Yeah, and Call's time on the board is sitting at a 46-minute real time, and Dino doesn't have, or Dino doesn't have a time with loads on the board, so I don't know off the top of my head, but... So, let's see, Dino is on Hilda.
Dino managed to get the, the complete phase cancellation of the last phase by doing enough damage and firing the missile. It can be very annoying and literally hit and miss, because otherwise the animation can still go and you'll have enough health to fire an attack, which can lose you just a small bit of time, but overall, like, compared to a death, it's not really anything.
No, all bets are off doesn't particularly have a meaning. It is actually the name of the second to last level in the game.
It's kind of just meant to be a name, really. Nothing much to it.
There wasn't much thought. I mean, it kind of sums up the entire game in a sense. So, Cutie is on to picking up the plane.
Moo's starting to come back, already just about there on Goopy.
But
Dino just finishing up on, on Hilda.
Yeah, and Call should be getting there relatively soon.
Yeah, Call just reached final phase right now. So that tells you just like, a small death at the start can really just push you ahead, because now Dino is like already started another fight, whereas Cole is just behind in the last phase of the previous one.
And Mo is still stuck on Goopy. I think they might have skipped Root Pack and Frogs. I think they might have gone straight to Goopy. I'm not sure. So they seem to pick up a lot of ground there really quickly. So I would imagine.
Definitely, it'll be interesting to see what it was.
Doing a routing change. Some people do prefer charge. I think more commonly it's spread, and then I would say roundabout probably after that.
It's a comfort pick, that's the thing. You have to go. It's like, what do you feel the most comfortable doing in a race setting where if something goes wrong, you have to basically just buck up and then just keep trying to go for it.
Alright. So, Call on Cagney, who I think probably has my favorite music in the entire game. It's the first one I ever heard, and I still can't believe how fantastic it is. Dino, on the other hand, is getting ready to go into Aisle 2. And so it'll be interesting to see a little bit of the route he takes here. Right at the beginning, there's 2 different paths that people will tend to go. I'm not sure which one he's thinking about.
Yeah, Isle 2 is definitely where a lot of people say the run really starts getting difficult.
Oh, for sure.
A lot of bosses, especially a gauntlet of like 3 or 4 throughout the levels, start to just become much more difficult than the others in comparison.
Yeah, I think generally everyone hates Baroness. A lot of people, well, at least I kind of hate that thing. The bird tends to be pretty bad. Dragon gives a lot of people trouble casually too.
Yeah.
So these bosses are not to be trifled with.
Alright, Moo finally finishing up on Goopy.
Oh, yeah, and you can hear, I'm assuming we are getting audio from Cutie because you can hear Floral Fury, which is the song I was just talking about. Although there's some really, I mean, the entire soundtrack of this game is phenomenal.
Yeah,
I mean, it's very hard to pick an actual favorite, but I spent a lot of time listening to Floral Fury, so I would probably have to go with that just on that basis alone.
Okay, Cole opting to go for Bonbon first, which means I think they're going to be picking up bombs at the same time afterwards.
Yeah, just I guess it depends on the fight, but yeah. Well, do they even get bombs in this route?
It started to become more prevalent again.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think SBD and Luigi, both the first and second place players, respectively, for this category, have started using bombs again.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot that Luigi actually. No, wait, Luigi still has record in this, but SBD is coming up right behind him.
Yeah.
So the thing about Baroness here on call screen is that her phases are more like little minions, and each one has a different attack, and they're all kind of a pain in the butt. Really, though, what the runners are hoping for is not to get the Jawbreaker, or at least don't get the Jawbreaker in slots 1 or 2. This is because the Jawbreaker death animation takes a really long time to get through. If you get it on the 3rd minion, then she just starts attacking right away, and so it doesn't matter. But other than that, you have to sit there and wait for it to finish.
That depends, because that's on a simple difficulty. On regular, I think only if she isn't already out to fire a shot, she will attack immediately. Otherwise, she has to wait for her to go back inside, wait a minute, and then come back out. So the animation itself, it just takes forever, and that's why no one likes getting it. But yeah. Okay, Cole doing what I suspected, which was picking up bombs, in fact. So we are going to be seeing that throughout the run.
And I guess Dino didn't,
This will be the interesting crossing point to see what time Dino gets on this boss, and then what time Cole gets. Because I think this could bring Cole back into it.
Meanwhile, I don't know what's happening on Mo's screen.
Mo might have had something happen IRL, that's all I can imagine.
Yeah, that's all I can... Because he hasn't forfeited.
Yeah.
Or anything. As far as I know, he is still in this race. So I can only imagine something happened IRL.
Hopefully it's not anything severe.
Oh, of course not.
Alright, Cutie moving on to the final phase of Beppy as Dino finishes off on Jimmy. Again, depending on what time Cole gets, we could end up seeing a switching of who's in first and who's in second, because Cole has already finished Bonbon.
But they do have to go and do Beppy as well, so that is...
Yeah.
But let's see, Dino got a 131 in-game on Jimmy, so we'll see how Cole does on this.
Dino moving into fight off against Bonbon, getting Cupcake first, which is one of the ones that you want to get.
So I never, at least personally, that's one I don't want to get, just because I always, like, I don't know, something about it is just, it trips me out every time.
It can be annoying, but otherwise it is still a really just, it always has the same pattern, so you can easily just map where it's going to go.
That is true.
Getting Jawbreaker second, though, is not really something you want to get.
Yeah, and you can see how long that death animation is. So that's a big time sink right there. Yeah. And I say big, it's, a few seconds.
Okay, but Cole managed to get a 138 on Jimmy, so...
Is it better to jump for... Yeah, Luigi pointed out that apparently never actually used the bombs. So maybe
there was some like, he imagined that he was doing a 100%. I don't know.
Maybe, or maybe he's planning on using it for later on. So there are a few more
robot and stuff. Yeah,
a few more plane levels.
He might have picked it up for Wally, in fact, actually.
Yeah,
because there are some strategies for Wally that, if you're unlucky with the RNG, can ultimately just bring you a death during the run, especially if you're just, you space out or you tunnel vision during it. Yeah, still nothing particularly happening over for so I'm wondering what we're going to do about that.
I mean, at this point, they're just getting further and further behind, unfortunately.
Yeah. Dino starting against Wally. Using the missiles to clear out all the birds, something I've not seen.
I usually do it on accident. But yeah, it's real bad with the bombs, because the radius tends to take care of a couple of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, All Bets Are Off doesn't particularly mean anything. It's just the King Dice level, second to last boss in the game. And I thought it kind of fit, because the whole thing, story-wise, is about Cuphead and Mugman getting in deep with the devil. They made a bet that they lost, and now they have to go do the devil's work. So it's kind of a reference to that.
If you look on Dino's screen right now, you saw that he almost got pretty much squished into a corner, and that's what I meant by the strategies. If you don't have bombs that you kind of have to use if you want to maximize damage, which is just sitting in that small little space at the bottom. And luckily, he was able to get out of it without too much issue. Okay, I think Moo seems to be back now, finally.
Yeah, they got called and had to step away for a minute.
Damn.
Very unfortunate, but...
Cole managing to catch up just a bit and just being a couple phases behind on Wally.
Oh, a question earlier. Is it better to jump for the spread EX in Beppy's last phase?
What do you mean?
Oh, that's just... Hi, Justin. I guess the thing with the spread EX is that it's really worth it if you can hit... So it's a radial attack. So it goes out 8 directions. And if you can get all 8 bullets to hit, that's when it's most effective. So yeah, it is possible, and some would argue, I guess, better if you try and get that in the last phase. For some people, it's more about surviving.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's actually done the math on whether that is better or not. But...
It does more damage reliably, I'd say.
Alright.
Cole finishing up on Wally while Dino is already on second phase. Grim. Arguably one of, I'm guessing most people's probably hardest boss for this category. Or even just in general playthrough.
Oh yeah, for sure. We've seen quite a few runs lost to Grim over the months we've been active.
The combination of just platform as well as just the attack patterns are what gets a lot of people.
Yeah, and the worst part about it is those fireballs that he's shooting. If you up shooting those, they split into 4 directions. And so if you're not careful, then you can easily get hit by those.
Yeah. Especially since you don't know exactly where the fireballs are coming from, so you could fire an EX and be like, oh, I'm going to be safe here, and a fireball immediately careens into it, spreads, and hits you.
But Dino finishing up aisle 2 very nicely there.
No deaths. All relatively decent times.
Yes.
Moving on to aisle 3. Aisle 3, surprisingly, doesn't have as many trouble bosses. There's a couple that annoy people, but other than that, nothing too difficult.
Yeah, I think the thing with aisle 3 is that there's just a couple more bosses. They kind of toned it back a little bit at
that,
the
as well as
expense
the bosses
of getting
are
a few.
much longer.
Yes, that too.
Co-opting for the safer way to handle second phase Grim, which is only using the P shooter, because there is actually, once you get into the second phase, I don't know if it's just current patch or if it's also on Legacy. Grim's hitbox for where his mouth is actually gets a bit wider, so most people will take a hit because they don't notice or don't expect it. Because it's actually larger than the model itself, and yet it still just sticks out that far.
So one of the nice tricks with the B here, at least on Legacy generally, is the ability to skip her third phase. It is possible to do in current patch, I believe, but it is incredibly difficult.
Yeah, you have to have done a lot of damage beforehand. Right.
And that was actually one of the nice things. I mean, kind of sucks when they made the patch. It took out a lot of our ability to do this. But if you do enough damage to the bosses, you can skip entire phases. Or end the fight early, and get quick kills, any sort of thing. A lot of that is only possible, or pretty much only possible, with weapon swap glitch, which again is not in current patch, but there are ways to do it if you are good enough and have enough practice.
Dino finishing off Honey Bottom.
Right as
a bit of issue at the end, so hopefully Call can use some of that to catch up. Whether or not you can skip the third phase and just kill her before she even gets into it depends on the attacks you get, because there are some attacks that allow you to do a lot more damage, whereas there are others where you have to play keep away mostly. And so there are 3 attacks you can get. There are the circles that are currently happening for Cole right now. There are the triangles, which you saw on Dino's screen earlier. And then there is the B missiles, as a lot of people like to call them, where she comes down in the middle. Cole was unable to get that one, so we're going to see triangles.
And Cutie getting past Baroness. So that while Mo takes a death to Hilda. Meanwhile, Dino is onto Dr. Call's robot, one of the other notorious run killers, at least in the early days of Cuphead speedrunning.
It is definitely a boss that at the start is pretty difficult, but the more and more you learn it, the more you can see the patterns in the attacks. That makes it a lot easier to handle.
Yeah, I forget who it was that found it, but in the Legacy version of this, or on the old patch, there is a way you can quick kill Call on regular and above. And it's, like I said, it takes very precise shooting, very accurate shots and counting of how much damage you're doing. But you can get times in the 16, 17 second range. But yeah, of course they fixed that in the patch. That's a good fight from Dino. He is moving on to presumably Sally stage play.
Yes.
As, again, Call is only one boss behind. To be fair, I'm best. Mo had to step away to do some real life stuff in the middle. So it's not so much that he's a noob and is stuck on Hilda. He was actually paused there for quite a while because they had to go take care of some stuff. Estimate real time for this category is generally, I would say, I mean, a conservative estimate would probably be 40 to 45 minutes, maybe 40 to 50 at most. Okay, so let's see what's going on.
Home taking a death right at the end.
Oh, and
deaths in this game
too.
can range very much on how much time you get. Dying at the start of a boss is arguably a lot better than dying at the end, especially for a longer boss like Cal's Robot or any of the plane levels.
One thing I really like about Cuphead is that they seem to take inspiration from a lot of other games. So you see right here on Dino's screen against Sally's third phase, it feels very much like an old-time RPG with the drop-down attack names. Her second phase actually reminds me a lot of Plugman from, I think it's Mega Man 9. I feel like I should know that by now because I love Mega Man, but just with the way those mouse cars move about the screen. And if you pay attention, there's a lot of references to things. We didn't mention it early on, but Ribby and Croaks actually is a reference to Ken and Ryu from Street Fighter. And even down to their clothes, their animations, and everything like that's crazy. Just all the different things they hid in this. Alexander Rodriguez pointing out that Fract originally found the call quick kill. So I'm sure the runners are very make heavy use of that in the legacy stuff. But yeah, do go follow. You gotta thank them very much for being here and participating in all of this. I mean, all of our work in getting this tournament set up wouldn't mean anything if we didn't have anyone to run it. So by all means, go follow them, show them some love, tell them what a great job they're doing. I'm sure they would appreciate it tremendously.
Dino going in on the second to last phase for Werner. And a lot of people don't actually know you can get underneath and just sit on the platform for this little vehicle. Most people just think that you have to just keep dodging or jumping over him.
Yes, Mo finally getting Hilda going on. And it looks like they're backtracking, presumably to run down and grab Rupak and Ribby and Croaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Cutie managing to finish off Grim. I'm going to be moving on to World 3.
Meanwhile, Dino is heading into the last of the last 5 bosses in the game, starting off with Tiny Beard. I think my issue with this fight is that there tends to be a lot of things going on at the screen all at once. You have him shooting at you, and you gotta dodge or parry. You have the barrel up top that will drop on you. You gotta pay attention to where it's at and when it's ready to drop. You have one of 3 different animal companions he can summon, and eventually, or you can kind of see it there, the boats start shooting at you as well. So you have things coming at you from literally everywhere on the screen, and keeping track of it all tends to be rather difficult.
So for Captain Briny Beard, well, I'm gonna guess I have to explain this now. You can actually parry on top and just get above the laser attack, because it is a parryable attack, which a lot of people don't know. The other thing is that you can actually kill Briny Beard before he actually gets a chance to fire his laser.
I don't think I knew that, actually.
You have to have done a lot of damage, and a lot of times you need to have, like, quite a bit of EX cards left over till the end to get it off. Otherwise, it saves a bit of time, but it doesn't really do much, since you can still get a kill on it regardless during the attack.
Dino going to arguably everyone's favorite boss, Calamuria. Whether, I mean that sarcastically or not, it's up for you to decide. This is another one where, depending on which attacks you get and just the order in which they come, it can be rather difficult to keep track of everything.
Okay, moving on to Ribby and Croaks to finish up the last boss that they need for World 1. We're moving on.
I see those Team Orgasms in chat.
For the Yellowfish, fun fact, for dodging that, if you move in just the right way, you don't even have to move up or down, you can just move left and right, you can actually dodge the attack of that.
I'll have to try that next time.
It makes it a lot easier to focus on just doing damage, especially if there's no other attack. Otherwise, you want to just be dodging everything on screen.
You see Dino doing a really rather risky strat there, staying as close as possible to Calamaria's head without taking damage. This is to avoid either the turn to stone attack that she has or the death bubble that she spits out. The downside is, throughout that entire section, the top and bottom of the stage can hurt you. And furthermore, there are rows of spikes that come scrolling across the screen, and in her head, depending on where the spikes come and where her head is located, can often cover those up. So you get a very, very small view of where those spikes are coming. So it can be very dangerous, especially if you're on low health.
Now Dino moving on to Phantom Express, with each boss really kind of having its own trick on how to deal with them and things like that.
Yeah, Phantom Express seems to be one that, I don't know, I see a lot of dislike for, but I personally like it a lot. Just because each phase is very different.
Yeah, each phase is uniquely put together.
Let's see, yeah, you are hearing cutieroo right now. And yeah, Rezu, yeah, Cuphead on speed gaming. If you haven't been paying attention, we are literally just kicking off a month-long tournament right now. This is the very first set of races in this tournament. So we will be on speed gaming all month, looking at these races and seeing how the
There's actually another match later today, actually.
There is another match later today.
I think it's on the main channel, isn't it?
Yes. It's on the main channel. I believe it's 6:30? 6:30? I'm looking up real quick.
It
is
6. Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be between Laurie and Loju.
Alright, Donna moving on to the last phase, arguably some people's least favorite part due to just, again, what you were talking about earlier, just how much stuff is on screen, but having no real issue with it and getting through.
Yeah, I know taking care of Phantom Express, and he is moving on to Hell. And I think more so than any other fight in the game, the King Dice fight has to be favorite, just because the mechanics of how you navigate the fight are so unique to any other boss in the game.
This is also where races can very much change for who's in first and who's in second, because a death or a mistake on King Dice can cost you upwards of 30 seconds to having to redo the entire fight, which can be, on average, about 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
Yeah. So what you'll see here is that there's a path along the background wall. You'll see Dino pairing a dice. The number on that dice dictates how far along that path you move. Each number represents a different mini-boss. So Dino got 3, which is the cigar. Arguably, I think the second easiest of the initial 3. The easiest one being the second one, being the poker chips.
There are different strategies for what people like to do as far as which bosses. Some people do 2, 4, save zone, and 8. Other people do 3, and 4 as well, save zone, and 8. It all depends on what you feel comfortable doing, as well as what you feel is fastest.
Yeah, generally the first boss is either 2 or 3, thing in that order generally. Second set is usually 5 in that order. And then on current patch, pretty much everyone goes for 8. On Legacy, actually, it's much faster to do number 9 because there is a glitch that you can trick the boss into going off screen, and if you can do that, it counts as a death for the boss. So you can get past that phase in pretty much no time at all. I mean, and boss number 8 is extremely easy in general, and I mean, with that glitch, it makes even 8 look like it takes, a longer time. And you also notice, too, that there are, on some of the bosses, an extra heart. And if you land on these spaces before the fight, you do get an extra bit of health. It's completely random which one they land on, so hopefully, if you're lucky, then they fall along your path. Not inherently beneficial to go out of your way for it. And the only other real danger with King Dice is that it is possible at the very end, right before you get to the part where you fight King Dice, there is a start over space. And if you are unfortunate to land on that, then you have to go back and traverse the path again. Yeah, this is glitchless, and it's current patch, so that's why we're not shooting for number 9. But in Legacy and or particularly the Legacy non-glitchless categories, yeah, Monkey Skip makes number 9 so much faster than number 8.
Okay, Moo needing just a 2 to get there, and now we're at the actual King Dice fight. Which, for people starting off, can be very annoying because you have to basically chain parries through the entire way.
Yeah, I think my first time through this, I didn't realize that you could actually hit the cards more than once, and so I died so many times just based on that inability to recognize that alone.
Well, having some issue, it seems, with Phantom Express and getting
a
reset.
Yeah, and it's... At this point, it's still a little early to call because the devil can throw a lot of people, but Dino is in a very good spot to wind up taking this. If he plays it a little bit safe, and yeah, he shouldn't have too much trouble.
Ooh, Cole taking another death on second phase, Phantom Express.
See, Cutie getting the knockout on one.
The thing that gets a lot of people with the devil is that there are so many different attacks just for the first phase that can really get you. A lot of them being slower than others, faster than others, or just more difficult than others.
Yeah, once you get into the second phase, I don't think it's as bad attack-wise. There aren't as many.
There's no special attack you can bring out of nowhere that really messes you up. Everything's always the same in phase 2.
Right, and something that didn't occur to me until I saw it, or someone said it the other day. The hitbox on this is actually the blacks of his eyes. And so it wasn't something that was inherently obvious. Oh,
Ooh.
taking a death there, but he's got some time.
Yeah. He has some
But
time,
it
but
does
he,
ruin
he definitely went a bit risky for that and just tried to get it over with. You could see.
and that does ruin the death list. But that's part of the thing with racing is that you don't know what your opponent's at, and so the question is, do you go risky,
Believing that you
and
are
try
slightly
and
behind, or do you want to just, like, yeah.
right, or do you want to play it
Seems
safe
the
and just
audio
try and
has
get
switched over to, I think, Dino? Yeah, Dino now has the
Yep.
audio right now, so you are hearing the double fight as it's happening. Ooh. Spider is definitely the attack that can slow you down the most in Devil, because you can only really hurt it when it hits the ground and slightly above it, and then the animation is also incredibly long. Long compared to all the other attacks, I should say.
Let's see, in the Call versus Dino fight, Dino's ahead. He's on the last boss. Call's behind by about almost a boss and a half. In the Cutie Mo fight, Cutie is drastically ahead by, I don't even know, 4, 9,
An entire
roughly 10 bosses. The gap in the runners is so enormous because well, for one thing, Mo had to step out during the middle of this. Oh, Dino finishes with a time of 41:15. But yeah, with GG Mo or GG Dino, so Mo is one. He had to step out briefly to take a call or something. So that put him very far behind Cutie just because she was playing and he wasn't. Also, something to consider too is that, or I apologize for calling that a little early. I'm sorry, I did not mean to. But another thing is Mo is playing on, and that inherently puts him at a disadvantage as far as load times are concerned, because the Xbox load times are dramatically longer than that on PC. So let me see if I can figure out how to pull Dino in here.
Alrighty. It seems the audio is back over with Cutie right now, who I think is going into Cal Maria.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Cole halfway done so far with the King Dice fight. Going for a different pattern than what Dino was going for. I know, yeah.
Still working on seeing if
Dino is in chat, so
it is.
Yeah.
Let me see about bringing him in here. Good. Actually.
Hello?
Hello, GG.
Thanks, someone. Thanks, Potato.
Congratulations, Dino, on the first ever finish in a tournament on for Cuphead.
Yeah, I was pretty nervous on that one. But I don't know, the run started pretty well. I was on PB pace almost the whole time until the start of Island 3. I didn't have like a super good start on the Island 3, but I still managed to PB at the end by 15 seconds.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
What would you say was the easiest boss and the hardest boss for you throughout the entire run?
So throughout the entire run, I guess the easiest boss. Which one would it be? I guess maybe the vegetables.
Oh yeah.
I think those are the easiest ones. And the hardest boss for almost every category for me is definitely the dragon. Me and the dragon are not good friends. It's my favorite boss though, but I always find it pretty hard. I was so happy that I didn't die at all in the dragon.
Yeah, definitely having a least favorite boss like that and managing to make it through without really getting scathed is good.
Yeah.
Not to interrupt, but Mo is making an interesting play here, opting to go to the mausoleum.
Oh, right.
Okay.
New route. We might need to try this route.
Good route.
So the idea behind the mausoleum is that you stand there and parry ghosts, and upon successful completion of it, you get one of 3 supers depending on what aisle you're in. So I believe he's still in aisle 1, which would be I don't know if you want to call it like a beam super, which is not something we see in
Too often.
it's just a lot of, I don't say it's a waste of time, but it's kind of a waste of time. But the idea with the supers is as you build up your meter, once you get to 5 cards, if you have a super equipped, then you can use it, and instead of doing your normal EX attack, you do the super instead, depending on what you have equipped. And so that's either the super beam, it's an invincibility, or there's one that creates
like a whirlwind attack.
Yeah, it's like a whirlwind.
Alright, Cole getting into the second phase of Devil. Looking pretty good right now.
And Cutie taking another death on Calamaria.
Cutie continuing to have some difficulties with Calamaria, which is fine. Calamaria, not some people's favorite bosses. As far as attack pattern. Alrighty, I think Moo still has Cagney to do before moving on to World 2. And
So it seems that the call is on, I think.
The last stretch for Cole.
Yeah, last stretch.
Yeah, he's in Devil.
And time for Cole at 47 minutes and 10 seconds. So still a really good time.
Yes, very, very much so.
Yeah, I mean, especially considering that this is with loads.
Yeah. The race was still really close, but then a death can really change it. It's good to just be able to just brush past that and finish, though. That's a good mindset to have.
Very much so. So let's see. Well, at least now we can focus on Cutie and Mo.
Still doing Cagney right now, or just starting Cagney. Cutie continuing to have a couple issues with Calamaria.
Okay, we'll, actually, you should be able to just join. So we're gonna pull Colin here.
Get the aftermatch interview.
Yeah.
I really wanted to have a Deathless run. Maybe later. Would be good to have one on stream.
Right. We now have
Hi guys.
Hey, Enter.
Hello.
Or Cole.
GG to both of you guys. Good race.
Thanks.
Ready, so Cole, we already had the interview with Dino, but one of the questions I'm gonna ask you is, what would you feel like was your best boss and your your worst one?
My best boss. I really didn't have very good boss. For probably King Dies, probably the last bosses were the best.
Alright.
Overall, because everything else felt really slow. Probably also because I have some lag problems. I don't know. I have to check better for the next race. And the worst one is I don't think there's don't think there's the need to tell you what my worst boss was because yeah, just by looking at my split, I believe I lost something like almost 4 minutes at the. I can't swear against the train. I had to keep, I had to stay, to pay attention, not to swear against that boss, but the train
still-
really got me.
You still finished strong, so that's important.
Yeah, I finished, I guess. I believe that Potato finished right after I beat the train, so I guess that we were not as I wasn't as far as I thought. Probably we were.
The race up
decently
until that
close.
point was extremely close. It was just that one boss that really got you.
Yeah, and Gupin. I died at Gupin the Grande because yeah, because
But still.
I tried to do strategies that I'm not able to do, and that's the result.
Yeah, you went for the risky play, and it didn't work out just quite as
No.
intended.
No, definitely.
It was still a good try.
Yeah. Let's appreciate the try at least, and the outcome was bad, but regardless, I'm pretty satisfied with the race. I mean, I believe this is my 8th, 9th run in this category, so
Yeah, there's
It's
a lot of
pretty
people. People have to remember there's a lot of people going into this tournament that didn't really care about winning. They just wanted to participate in the first tournament of this kind for the Cuphead community.
Yeah, and part of the thing with that is we decided that we wanted to do a category that allowed a lot of people to enter. So we specifically went with probably the easiest one to learn.
The easiest one to learn, but still shows
get
off
into
enough of the game.
Being
it's
current
very hard
match.
to truly master. It's a
Yeah.
category that's really hard to master because there are so many little details, so many little movements, so many little tricks. They're actually very hard to pull off consistently. And
Yeah, especially in a race setting where you're
Yeah,
constantly
definitely.
wondering, am I ahead? Do I pull this off? Am
Yeah,
I ahead enough that I really need to care about doing this trick? That kind of stuff. And once you start to like second guess yourself a lot of the time, you end up making those little mistakes that can cost you like up to like a minute in just time for one
Yeah.
boss.
especially if you die at the end of a boss, that's
Yeah.
1 minute gone
Yeah.
forever.
So yeah, let's get a couple more GGs in chat for Cole and Mr. Dino, our two racers for race 1.
And Justin asked in chat, do either of you know what your loadless times are for that?
Yes. So for me, it was 36:11.
And the game timer. You mean the game
Yeah.
timer? My game time was 43 and 50. Very bad, very bad. Not even close to my PB, which is also pretty bad. I would say that without all those deaths at the train, I would have PB easily because I end up 2 minutes. Yeah, I would have PB easily. But that's fine. I don't really care. I just have a lot of fun running this game, running the game.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just,
That's really the thing
taking
that matters.
part,
At the end of the day, as long as you have fun.
Yeah, definitely. I wasn't even expecting to win. I mean, to win, I really, in order to win, I should really have hoped for lots of error by Mr. Dino. I mean, you really should have choked pretty much almost every boss. So, but who cares? I mean,
Cutie
Yeah,
getting
I
close to entering hell here, so we're about to we're getting close to getting a winner for race 1.
that's
Right.
fine.
And so, looking ahead a little bit, we don't know who is going to face off against Dino yet. But the winner of Mo and Cutie will go on to face Luigi, who should not in any way, shape, or form be underestimated. He's the current world record holder for this category. the world record holder for many of our categories, and is certainly going to be a force to be reckoned with throughout this format.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Luigi is insane in this game. So for everybody in the chat, I really recommend you guys watching him playing.
Well, you know what's really unfair though, Kurthar, is Optimistic Gamer has to, in their first match, face off against TMR.
Oh,
TMR probably the second favorite for this tournament.
Yeah, it'll be very close. Like, it would not surprise me if the fight came down to Luigi and TMR.
I don't know.
But we do have
that.
quite a few really good runners in here.
Who knows? I mean, I've seen lots of races that the favorite one choked pretty much everything and then ended up losing. So I don't want to jinx anyone.
Yeah, no race is really set until the RNG comes out, because everything could be perfect. You could be the world record holder for every single category, but you make one mistake that sets you back, and all the other person has to do is just not die.
yeah, that's one of the things on this game, that it's very unforgivable. In other games, sometimes one mistake you lose like 1, 2, 3 seconds maybe, and you can still be on pace for PB and stuff like that. Over here, one death costs you most of the times at least a minute, which is pretty bad.
Especially if you die at the very end of the stage.
Yeah, sometimes even up to 2 minutes, depending on the boss.
Yeah.
And I died to the two longest ones, so, apart from Goopy. I died to half of Robot and...
The thing to remember when racing is that whenever you take a death, you just have to like try to brush it off as fast as possible. Because if you let it sit on you the entire time, you're just going to make more and more mistakes. So you really just have to acknowledge, like, okay, died, move on.
Yep, I agree.
That's really hard. I mean, luckily for me, this is not the first race I've done, so I'm a little bit experienced at recovering from very bad situations. And all in all, my practice with the train was close to 0. So actually, I was really worried that I would have spent much more time on the boss. It ended up being a 4-minute fight, but it could have been much worse, much worse. And I'm so glad that at the end I killed him. Man, I hate that boss. I really hate it. And I usually can, I don't know if I can, for me it's usually, I call it the pain train, because for me it's, it's really, but in every category, not just this one, legacy, low percent, whatever category you want, this boss for me is...
The train?
The train, yeah, the train.
Yeah.
Well,
it's definitely a boss where, like, if one thing just goes out of place, you can just start losing a lot of health really fast.
Yeah.
It's because also, I think it's the design of the train, it's a very unique boss. It's not one of those that is just the same guy and you just keep hitting him. It changes, and each phase is way too different from each other.
Yeah, each phase has its own unique feel to it, where you gotta adapt to what it does.
It's like 4 little mini bosses or something like that.
Definitely.
So Cutie is on to King Dice proper now. Has 2 health, and probably, I think, unless they really mess up, we'll probably get through this. And Mo, on the other hand, is yet again getting to Cagney's last phase. Hopefully, he'll be able to get past this. I mean, I can imagine at this point, probably just full of frustration. Not being able to get past this boss, and I mean, especially since you're already behind because you had to take a pause very early on.
To be completely fair, Cagney is one of the bosses that I hate the most in this category as well. He can be so much RNG.
It can also set up to just mess you up later if you're unable to parry some of the reds.
Yeah, especially when there's this little like pumpkin thing on the top throwing some pink bullets.
Yeah.
It gets really messy.
Alrighty, Cutie moving on to the devil. And
nice.
Starting off with Spider, which isn't the greatest start.
Spider is very unfortunate because when he's in the spider form, you are very few chances of hitting him with respect to other phases, so you ended up losing time.
Yeah.
instead of having continuous firing
Yeah.
power on him, you get to wait. But I mean, since the fights last for much longer in this category compared to, for instance, Legacy, actually getting the spider is much more easier and like.
Yeah.
Also, that attack is now harder to dodge when he throws the big legs. You used to be able to crouch it, and you cannot crouch that anymore.
Yeah, true. I mean, I don't think I ever tried to crouch, not even in Legacy.
Oh, okay.
But that's definitely the optimal strat.
I used to crouch it if it was like the very first attack he does, because you don't have like any EX weapons. So it was harder to avoid it from the top.
True.
The trick for that one is just like, if you don't have the EX for it, you just jump and then you dash. And
dash. Yep. That axe.
Ready?
The killer axe.
Cutie only having 2 more phases to go through, and they will be done their race. And called it too early.
Now the
Mo getting
starts.
that knockout on Cagney finally.
Oh.
Good job. On to aisle 2 now.
Cutieroo died to the devil, the third phase.
That is another one of the worst attacks from the devil when he summons like the fires that are like dancing.
Yeah.
Oh, the ones that are in a circle.
Yeah, that's kind of weird to avoid.
It's a good attack if you know how to like master it, but otherwise, especially for newer players, it can really just be a run killer. Cutie opting to just get the reset on phase 1.
On getting that damage.
And again, another reset. Wanting to keep as much health as possible for the final phase, where definitely a lot of people will take a hit either from the platforms or from the RNG of the attacks.
Unfortunately, Cutieroo was having some trouble with the devil right now. But, being the final boss, it's hard panicking if you start dying or start having troubles. Because it's the last, you are so close to the end.
Yeah.
You feel the goal, you feel your the end, but
it's so close and yet so far still.
Yes, exactly. You need to keep your focus at your maximum levels, because otherwise this boss can really wreck you. I lost so many runs to devils.
I always underestimate the devil and always keep losing to him because underestimating him.
Especially because sometimes it's really unpredictable, especially during the second to last phase. Even sometimes in the last phase. A lot of things may appear on the screen, and when you are focused on hitting him, you may not notice that something else is coming for you.
Yeah, like those falling platforms.
For instance,
yeah. The falling platforms, especially if you go for something like an EX, you can definitely tunnel vision and immediately just like, oh, I just got hit. Yep. So it's definitely something where you have to kind of plan ahead, even though planning ahead is really just planning like a second ahead. Moon now finally on to Jenny.
It's close. Ouch.
Oh man.
Still has plenty of time. The opponent is at Genie, so I mean he can take his time to be the boss in order to win the race. I believe that Movellandrone had some issues at the beginning.
Yeah, they had some IRL issues where they had to pause and step away.
Oh, okay. They also had some troubles at the beginning, probably. He wrote in the chat at some point that he bought the heart instead of the sped, something like that. Okay. So guys, I believe if there's no other question you have for me, I believe that time for retire for me because it's quite late and
It's like,
Yeah.
I need
Well,
to rest. Sorry,
oh
sorry
my
if
god.
I leave in the chat, but
nah,
me it's quite late, and I don't usually play during the week in the evenings, but for some I can have some exceptions because of work, because I work usually all day long, and then I'm pretty tired during the evening, but that's fine. So
Well,
I
thanks for
believe
being here. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for participating in the race. It's a very
thanks
good
to you
one.
guys
and,
for.
congrats again to Dino for the victory. It was
Oh
a
yeah,
very good
of
race.
course, congrats to
And
Dino.
thank you. Congrats to you, by the way, as well, man. It was a good race.
Thanks.
I mean,
Thanks.
I don't know, but everybody says it was pretty close, so it was a pretty good race. I'm happy for that.
Yeah, it was really close until it came down to that one boss fight. And Cutie finally managing to finish off the devil with a final time of 1 hour and 5 minutes and 12 seconds.
GG.
Yep. Alrighty, so
Beauty. So thank you very much to Salmon, to Potato for the commentary. Thanks to the Cuphead community for making this tournament possible. I hope that everyone in chat, everyone who is watching us, enjoy the race, and yeah,
Yeah, and
it started pretty awesomely, I would say, and let's keep up the good work. So thanks again, guys, and see you next time. Bye bye.
Yeah, and take this time again. Go show some love to our runners. Go follow them. Make sure you stay tuned to the Speed Gaming channels for more Cuphead later on. We're still going to go for a little while. Mo is still going, so we're not going to cut out just yet. I'm going to certainly root him on and let him finish. But that being said, I also have to duck out because I have to go to work here in 15 minutes. So I'm going to leave it and pass it on over to Potato to wrap things up.
I can stay here with Potato if you want.
Yeah, let me see if Cutie wants in here quick.
I'm just gonna stop my stream here. There you go.
even though the race is done, Movell has finally gotten past Jimmy. I think that boss finished.
Yeah, and major props for still going. I mean, in this sort of thing, yeah, it'd be very tempting to, just
Simply
give up.
just draw.
You're already an hour in. Your opponent has already finished. I mean, you're roughly halfway through the game. Major props for sticking with it. So I'm going to pull Cutie in real quick, and I'll let you guys go take care of that. Once again, make sure stay tuned to Speed Gaming, check the schedule, stuff like that. There is another race tonight at 6 over on the main Speed Gaming channel, and then we have races tomorrow and Friday and Sunday right now.
Yeah.
So you guys can figure all that out on where to get the schedule and stuff. So
I will again be commentating on the race on the main channel for today, along with 2C Plus, another moderator for the Cuphead Discord, and another participant in the tournament that's going to be that is happening.
okay, well, with that, I think Cutie has everything she needs to get in here. So I'm
Hello?
there. GG.
So congratulations, Cutie, on the race and the victory.
Later,
Thank
guys.
you.
So how? We've asked this kind of to everyone at this point. What would you feel like was your best and worst boss throughout the entire run?
Hold on one second. Let me turn off the game volume. It's super loud. Okay, now I can hear you.
Okay,
ask me that question.
It was, what would you feel was your best and worst boss throughout the entire run?
Oh boy, Maria was my worst. I don't know why, because I was just like, normally when I'm in a practice, I can do her like in one shot kind of deal, but she was my worst. And maybe second Devil, and then I would say my best. I don't know. I was happy with Grim, actually. I wouldn't say that was my best, but I was happy with it.
Yeah.
But I would say my best overall. I would say like towards the beginning. I was thinking
yeah.
Carney.
Oh yeah.
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 But
it was good to see, like, sorry, words. Most people eventually they probably would have just like called it and just been like, okay, this is like so many errors. But I'm glad to see people sticking with it. You and Moo. I think this is your. Do you have what runs do you have on the speedrunning board?
oh, for this, I never had an all bosses glitchless, but I technically just PB'd because this morning I did my practice, and then I had 1 hour and 10 minutes, and then I PB'd it just now on the race, and then
Well, that's good.
by 5 minutes, yeah, I was like, yay, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
And then I do Ori and the Blind Forest. I'm actually in the tournament for that right now, and then I've also have Cuphead any % legacy patch. And then I've also have K-Story Plus and Final Fantasy Mystic Quest.
Jeez,
So those are my
a lot of stuff in
speedruns.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So congratulations again on the victory. It was a hard fought race.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem.
Congratulations on PB as well.
It was,
Thank you.
it's very cool to see, especially for the first tournament that we are doing in the Cuphead community, to see a lot of people that don't really care too much about like winning. They just want to participate in the tournament, even if they like don't have too great of times.
Yeah.
A lot
but
of people
now
just kind of coming in to just participate and see how much they can do compared to some of the top people.
yeah, because the top people like TMR and Luigi, like I think I'm gonna go against Luigi next, and I'm not gonna lie, that race I will be nervous. And this one I was kind of like, I'm enjoying myself, but with Luigi I do want to like, push myself as hard as I can, but I don't want to like go too hard.
Yeah,
I just want to go fast.
you gotta give Luigi a chance to win.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta make it a fair fight. You can't finish the game. You can't finish the game in 20 minutes and then just expect me to catch up.
Yeah. See, you know where I'm coming from. But yeah, so I mean, it is really cool just to kind of like participate in an event that I mean, not too many people know about Cuphead, but I hope something like this will help.
Well, I think a lot of people know about Cuphead. They just don't know about the speedrunning scene for it, per se.
Yeah. And I'm hoping like maybe with tournaments like this, you can like get more Cuphead runners.
Yeah. See, it'll be interesting to see what comes of it.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, we're still currently watching on Mo, who is on Bon right now.
Oh, okay.
Some issues early in the run. Is still going strong.
Okay, because I thought it was so funny when I was looking at the Speedruns live chat and I saw him asking about Devil, and I was like, oh, are you at Devil already? Oh no, because I was at Devil and having troubles, and I was like, please don't tell me. But then I saw the stream and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, there's just some issues early on that we really couldn't anticipate. Like, for a while, he just had the entire thing paused, and I guess had some IRL issues to deal with.
Oh, gotcha.
So there was that, and then obviously just some general issues with, I think Moo is also a relatively new runner to at least this category.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he just barely finished the game this morning, I think, from my understanding.
Yeah.
Like, casually, and I know like
it's totally fine. We don't really.
Oh yeah.
We don't have it where it's like, oh yeah, you must have this many like categories and this many moments. It was just a sign up if you feel like it, if you want to participate.
Yeah, and no, I just know for him like it is a different speed run than a casual, and that's that's one thing I think helped me, even though I've never done this category until like this past morning. To me, doing the any % helped a lot.
Yeah, definitely the mindset between casual and and an actual speed run, regardless of like category and difficulty. Like, there's very much a big gap.
Yeah.
Because for casual, it's like, okay, I survived the fight. For speed run, it's I survived the fight, but I could have taken a damage boost here, blah blah blah. There's a lot of second guessing yourself and kind of taking apart what you did, like literally seconds ago.
Mhm. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, like there's some fights. Like right now, I'm thinking about is Lobber and Spread the really best weapons for me? I don't know. So yeah, I'm
It comes
thinking the
down to
same thing.
people's personal preference.
Yeah.
Or what they feel comfortable using.
Yeah, because like Lobber, it really works for me for like Grim or Honey because they're in such like an awkward position. But like, I don't really use Lobber all the other times, not too much.
Yeah. That's kind of that situation where do you sacrifice being a bit better at one boss, or do you to help all the other ones, or like in that situation, it's hard to make, especially in a literal like last second judgment call as you're going to start the race.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Part of me is like, maybe I should just do the roundabout and the Lobber, like in any percent. But we'll see.
Yeah, Moo's still trying to finish off Bon.
Bonbon. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Bonbon is is that Baron?
Yeah.
Okay. Or Baroness, I meant to say.
Yeah, Baroness, Bon. A lot of people just kind of call it by different names.
Yeah.
I think I heard somewhere it's also like Mini King Dice.
Oh man. I don't know. The only.
Oh, sorry. I'm just gonna say if it's okay if I step out as well. I have to go eat something.
Totally understandable.
Okay. I'll see you guys around.
Yeah. GG again to Dino for winning his match. So,
GG to everyone for participating.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. See ya, guys.
See ya.
Bye. All right. So against Luigi, how much practice time do I need?
All of it.
Just like a lot.
Just schedule the match as far as possible.
Right? Oh my gosh.
How does April of next year sound to you?
That sounds more possible than in a day. Oh man. Because like in any percent, you don't fight the devil, right? And so
And
fighting
percent,
a
you just take the
devil.
yes.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. And I make sure to kind of go slow right there because I'm so used to saying yes. So I'm just like, okay, no. And then
we also commented on the fact that you went for kind of more of a safety strat, which was just resetting to get max HP, or as much HP going into the final fight as possible.
yeah, because oh man, like if I was down at 1 by the time I'm in a second, or is that a second phase? I would say a second phase. I'm screwed because at least by like the 3rd, I'm gonna get hit by a skull or like a little double or the chip. So I'm just like, all right, I have to have at least 2. But then I was like taking unnecessary hits, and I was like, this is frustrating.
Yeah, especially in a race setting where it's like any little thing helps.
Mm-hmm.
And the time difference between resetting on phase 1 whereas resetting on halfway through the boss fight or all the way at the end is very much like a big difference.
Yes, agreed. Like, which boss was it? Oh, the captain guy.
Oh, Briny Beard?
Yeah, I was just like that pink squid, man. I was just like, where did you come from? I guess I wasn't putting enough damage because it was coming out often, and I was like, oh, I've never seen this before. But yeah. So and you get to learn.
You have to expect a lot of things that you might not have ever seen before, or might not anticipate.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy for the Ori tournament because, like, normally when I'm speedrunning, I'm like, reset in the beginning. And with Cuphead, you kind of can do it if you're, like, sub 50. It's, like, easier to reset in the beginning. But, like, in a race, you can't really do that.
Yeah, because any reset gives the other person an advantage. It basically gives them free time.
Exactly. Is he having a hard time with
Yeah.
with bomb?
Yeah, Bonbon is definitely, I'd say, where the difficulty spikes for a lot of people in terms of this game, especially casually.
Yeah.
Because you're used to just fighting one boss, one hitbox, and it just keeps going. Instead here, now you have to deal with several different hitboxes and enemies and styles. And even once you get through all of them, you still have to fight the boss itself.
Yeah, which is like, oh my gosh, her head is just so, like, unpredictable. The problem with her head is, like, even though you think you got the pattern down, all of a sudden she'll, like, do this weird little back thing if you're in the wrong placement, and then all of a sudden you just, like, get hit or die. And, yeah, you're just, like, really, like, it's the head, too. It's never... I mean, it's very rare if you're gonna die by the you know, the, oh, what is that thing called with the mint? Like the peppermint?
Oh, the Jawbreaker.
Yeah, yeah. And, like, I don't know, that was just, like, it's very rare to die to that, but, yeah, it's just, she is just hard in the sense of her third phase.
She's definitely one of the bosses that a lot of people spend a lot of time practicing. Just because of how she is.
Yeah. I have to, I think, like, I don't know about against Luigi, but before, I think I need to practice train, of course. I was taking way too long on the, like, downing the head down. And then, Bonbon would be good. And then Jimmy, I actually usually get Jimmy first time. Like, I do pretty well on Jimmy.
It's definitely a good idea to just watch back, like, the VODs, especially since these are being streamed, to just be able to go, okay, where did I mess up? Here, 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 and then just kind of give yourself a list to practice.
Yes. Yeah. That's great advice. Do you have a time?
For this category?
Yes.
Yes, I currently have the 3rd place record for this category.
Ah! Oh wait! I saw the video, and you're the video.
Yeah, I recently took the title away from, I think it was K Prime on the board, who had the previous 3rd place run. And so I finally managed to grab that after multiple attempts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to tell you, your tutorial is great, and I might have some questions, but I did watch your tutorial. It occurred to me that I'm really bad with names, so like names I won't recognize, but it's your voice that kind of was like, oh, wait a minute.
He sounds familiar.
Exactly. So
this
I was just like,
this voice sounds familiar to me.
Yeah, it's weird, but yeah. It did.
Oh yeah, I'm glad the tutorial worked out for you. For people that don't know, I created the tutorial for this tournament that was distributed around. Well, I say distributed, that was like kind of everyone was told to like use it if they were starting off with the category. It is very much a beginner entry-level tutorial, so anyone interested in speedrunning this category or just Cuphead in general, I have 2 tutorials set up for current patch. That basically gives a simple overview of every single boss and little tips and tricks for them.
Yeah. Yeah, because, like, I had questions for you about how to beat. Because you don't even get to the 3rd phase.
Oh,
you put
yeah.
so much damage, and I'm just tried doing that without lob.
Yeah, that was kind of an oversight on my part.
Oh.
Because eventually I was like, you know what, most people could probably pull off, like, just doing some decent damage with a decent RNG, and I was like, wait, what if people can't do that?
Yeah. Yeah, because, like, so I tried it with pea shooter and spread, and you know how they're not, like, really vertical too much, and
they're very sharp angles.
Yeah, and so, like, you don't have that wiggle room, and so with her, like I got to the third phase and I was like, oh, what do you do here? Okay, I guess I'll try to get close enough to her head, but then you have the problem with her arms, and then the what do you call it? The hands that fly out. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
I was just like, okay, well, no, this is a big fat no. And then,
That was kind of the problem with that boss, is that, like, yeah, you kind of want to show it off, but at the same time, pretty much the strategy for that run is just try to ignore the third phase existing as much as possible and just get through it.
I can't wait to get that one day. Like, I finally got an 80% and I was happy, but it's easier to do that because you got the weapon switch, the weapon
Yeah.
glitch. And then,
Doing it in current patch is definitely more of a trial to do it.
yeah, it's definitely harder.
Yeah. Yeah, congrats again on the victory.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm super excited. This is like my first win in a tournament ever, so I was just like, yay! But I'm going against Luigi, so I'm like, yeah.
You just gotta not discourage yourself too early. Anyone can make mistakes. Everyone's human, unless Luigi reveals himself to be a robot.
That's true.
And
Well,
then at that point, we could just disqualify him for being cheating.
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, is there anything you would like to say to the bit of the audience we still have here?
Oh, Cuphead is amazing. It tests your patience and it tests your challenge, but it's definitely a challenge, I meant to say. But I would say that if anyone is interested, the speedrunning community is great, and everybody's pretty chill and open. So yeah, if you ever have any questions, you can always ask. And I hope to see you guys next time with Luigi.
Yeah, it'll definitely be an interesting race to see that.
Yes, definitely.
They
all I know is if I could get like sub-hour, I'll be happy.
Yeah. Because that's the thing, it's like you gotta use this as an opportunity to just better yourself if you don't expect overly to win.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe I could like pull off some moves that I've never tried before. That's what's nice about going against the top tier guys. It's like you have nothing to lose, so
Yeah,
you're just
might
like,
as
why
well
not?
experiment to get the PB.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, so the next race after this, that'll be happening in just a bit on the main channel, is gonna be Lori the Beaver versus Lil J. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what's coming up next?
That is coming up in a bit here, and it's gonna be on the main channel. It's at 6 p.m. EST for those that want to see that. And again, it is on the main Speed Gaming channel.
Yay! Well,
Yeah.
thank you, Potato. Is it cool if I call you Potato?
Yeah, it's totally fine.
Okay.
No, you have to call me Mr. Sir.
Mr. Sir, the Potato 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Yeah, potato is honestly fun.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for having me. I'm gonna get going. More practice, but thanks for having me, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for participating in the tournament and stuff.
Yay!
Yeah.
Alright, take care, everyone.
Okay. Bye. Everyone, let's get some more GGs in chat for Rue for finishing off a difficult race.
Yay! Bye, everyone. Have a good one.
Alrighty, now it is down to Moo to just finish up, or what's it? Or feel if eventually they just want to tag out. But honestly, good on Moo for continuing throughout this this hard time and just wanting to finish the race. It can't be easy to be this far down and still decide, no, I want to finish this. So let's get some some inspirational you got this in chat. Gotta give Moo all the inspiration that he can use. Starting off with the Jawbreaker. Not the one that you want to get throughout the run, simply due to just how long it can be with the death animation. But otherwise, if you know how to sneak it around the screen, it wouldn't give you too many issues. So bested. Yeah, we gotta see Drone through to the end, or at least until they eventually decide to call it. We've been on a journey with Moo. Actually managing to get the fast death animation on Gumball, so that's nice. Getting Cupcake again. The boss he's been having definitely some issues with throughout this boss. Into the final phase again. Seen this many times, but managing to avoid the peppermint. We have a knockout for Moo. On to Bonbon, so let's get some claps. Let's get some claps and some good jobs in chat for Moo, who finally managed to finish off Bonbon in style. The determination finally ringing through. Sadly, Justin, we can't get the screen larger. I have no control over that. That is controlled by the speed gaming people themselves. So I have no control in that aspect. But yeah, definitely give it up to Moo, continuing to kind of truck along as much as possible, while even being this far behind. And like we said earlier, this is actually like their pretty much first proper speedrun of the game. So it's definitely a very big prospect, a very big thing for them. And for them to just go from just casually playing the game and wanting to, like, try their hand at speedrunning is already a big thing. But then for them to do it and say, I want my first run to be in a race is it can be a big thing on the mind. So for them to continue doing it is very determining. Ikazi, this race currently is over. The winners were cutieroo and Mr. Dino. But there will be another race on the main channel at 6 PM EST. So that'll be the next race happening, and it'll be, again, commentated by me and one other person. Moo did not grab bombs. At least I don't think. But yeah, the last race of today will be happening on the main Speed Gaming channel, so that's Speed Gaming just without any numbers. And it will be between, let me check, it'll be between Lori the Beaver and Lil J, so that should be an interesting race. And again, it is going to be happening at 6 PM EST for all those interested in seeing some more Cuphead today. Ready? Moo slowly making his way through it, getting to the child phase. Not going for the midair parry to get the EX card. Deciding instead to play it safe, and getting hit with that unpredictable second shot.
A brawl is surely brewing. Now go!
Ready. Moo still carrying on. It seems like he has full EX as well as the 3 cards for this couple of phases. Keep out of way of the eggs, but managing to get hit while stuck in the corner. Going for the nuke now. Just a bit more damage. Going for the mid-air parry. And finally getting a kill onto Baby Bird. Moo just flying through the maelstrom. I think not understand. Okay, I was gonna say I don't think they knew that they could just fire to the side, but it seems like they knew. Okay. Managing to time that that missile, they hit perfectly right there. Gonna fly through these obstacles, missing the parry, and getting hit by the heart's shots.
This match will get red hot. And begin! Here's a real high.
Not wanting to be outdone, continuing to just try to persevere throughout this run as much as possible. Slowly getting better with each reset. He's managing to navigate the feather field easier this time, it seems. Going for the nuke there, but since the heart was out, it did not do as much damage as probably anticipated. And flying a bit too close to the sun and getting hit. Seems like they are exiting the map now, so it'll be interesting to see what happens here. It seems they're going back to pick up the bombs to help them out a bit.
Good day for a well battle. Here goes.
Yeah, the load times on non-PC are pretty substantial sometimes.
A great slam and then some. You're up.
How long until it starts? Oh, it already started, Peach. The winners of today's matches, between Cutieroo and Moo, it was Cutieroo that won. And between Cole and Dino, Dino won. Right now, it is just Moo wanting to finish the race. So just finish up as much as possible until they either reach the end or just decide to call it. Indeed. There is going to be another race happening today, though. The third race of the day, since there are already two here, will be happening on the main Speed Gaming channel. It'll be on the main Speed Gaming channel, as well as between Lori DeBeaver and Lil J at 6 p.m. EST. Indeed. Right now, we're basically just... It's all on Moo right now. It goes until either they finish, they get tired and just call it, or the Speed Gaming people finally kick us out.
A great slam and then some. Here goes. A great slam and then some. You're up. A great slam and then some. Now go. A brawl is surely